I rise in opposition to this budget because it fails to look to the future. In order to talk about the future, we need to talk about tax reform. The Republican budget fails to take advantage of the very real Democratic interest in tax reform. Ironically, the discussion was begun by a Republican governor with the Commission on the 21st Century Economy. We've had hearings all year, beginning with that commission's report, bringing in academics, bringing in practitioners to talk about how we can move this economy into the 21st century. There were very few elements in the COTSE report that engendered any kind of support, but there were a few. There was an acknowledgement of the problems of the corporation tax. It is riddled with loopholes. It's not the same tax that it was. The need to flatten the personal income tax, generally acknowledged. The problems of the sales tax and how that is inhibiting the economy and manufacturing. One of the few states that levies this sales tax at every stage of the manufacturing process. That needs to change. That's acknowledged. The Democrats have tried. We have proposed a tax reform that incorporates many of the elements that were raised. First, flattening the pit, taking advantage of federal deductibility, which we ought to as a state, reduction of the sales tax. We welcome those who would like to work to improve that proposal. Tomorrow, we will continue the discussion, this time of the governor's proposal for tax reform. Tomorrow, in a joint hearing with my committee and with the Assembly Committee, we'll look at the governor's proposal to broaden the sales tax base. Also, an element of reform, not new. It's been tried in other states, been very effective, makes for a better 21st century economy, and also is a revenue raiser because our economy is no longer the economy of the 19th century. So we still have a choice, it seems to me. We don't have a budget, and this one is not our budget. But we do have an opportunity to reform this tax structure and make this a better budget for California. Our taxes support the economic engine that we have. They don't necessarily impede it. They are, in fact, the foundation of it. And to the extent that other states have managed to do that, we're well behind the curve. And to do that, we need your assistance. Not to rail against taxes, but to come up with reform ideas, as other states have done, to move this economy forward to the 21st century.